Hey, everybody, we're here. We thrive in the world's most culturally diverse city, Toronto, home of Blue Jays, Raptors, Maple Leafs, and Canadian psychic Robert Lindsay Milne. And that's me. Welcome. Welcome to my side of the crystal ball. Every show I start off with saying we got a great person for you, a great interview, and of course we always do. But tonight, this show, we're just stepping up leaps and bounds again. My guest, Kevin Moore, talk show host, and by the way, we say talk podcast host, right? Kevin Moore just happens to have over 100,000 subscribers just on YouTube alone. He's a deep thinker, creative, imaginative. He also happens to be in many different areas of research around the paranormal, psychism. Before we start the show, I've got a request. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Subscriptions are complimentary. They are so important. You can find us on YouTube. You can also find us on Apple and Spotify and pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. If you want to get in touch with me personally, you can find me on my website, www.robertlindsaymilne.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And now, without further ado, let's light this candle and hear what WWRS has to say. I've been doing a lot of thinking about comparing myself to somebody else. This person is taller, this person's shorter, looking at this person is more successful, this person is more unsuccessful, this person's handsomer, this person's beautiful, always comparing ourselves. And you know, in reality, there is only one of us in the universe. There is no other being in this universe just like you. When you were born, they broke the mold. And that means you're perfect because you're the only one. And there's none equal or the same. You're different. When we start to compare ourselves to others, we always find those that are better, and we always find those that are lesser. But it's such an unfair comparison. The only fair comparison is comparing ourselves to ourselves. Because we're the only ones of us, and we're perfect. And that's what Robert has to say. So, Kevin, welcome to my side of the crystal ball. It's delightful to see you on the other side of the crystal ball, so to speak. And I have so many things that I have to ask you about your life. And how did you get to have such a successful podcast? How did that happen? I know you just didn't wake up 3 years ago and say, I'm going to do this.
You know, I don't see it as successful. I just see it as a work in progress.
Okay.
I just see myself at the very beginning of a long journey sometimes, right? Yeah, I see it completely different, don't I?
Yeah.
How did I get? Yeah. How did I get there? How did I get to do what I'm doing? It's really simple, really. I mean, it's just, you know, I studied television at university back in the UK in a place called Cardiff, and I just decided from there that I was going to
Is
keep
that
doing
in
the
Wales, Cardiff?
that's the capital of Wales in the UK, and I just decided that there was nothing else for me that I really wanted to do at the time, and I'd pretty much been influenced by Coast to Coast, by Art Bell from Coast to Coast. I'd listened to a lot of that kind of stuff before getting into doing the television production, and actually I started off in radio at uni, but then I transferred to TV in the last year. I got a skit on a back channel station in the UK on Sky TV in the UK. If anyone knows Sky, people from the UK will know Sky TV, and yeah, I just kept it going, and here we are. So it's just been sometimes passion, and sometimes there's just been nothing else to do. I know that sounds terrible, right? But there's been many times that I've tried to sort of break away from it, but I'm still doing it, aren't I? I'm still here. And whether it's going to continue or not, who knows? I mean, yeah.
Right.
I give up trying to even figure it all out, to be honest with you.
So it's just one show at a time.
One day at a time right now.
One
I
day at a
think
time.
one
Yes.
day at a time right
So
now. Yeah.
when you're talking with people, when you're doing your interviews, do you ever talk do the guests ever talk to you about you? Because I know you have a lot of psychics on or intuitive. Do people do that with you?
No, I try to just keep it conversational. So maybe I include us both anyway, automatically. Do you know what I mean? I just thinking about it right now. I did prefer when I used to do sort of conversational kind of interviews more than that style of, let's set a load of questions out and then let's ask them. Yeah, I just find that when you if you can include yourself in the conversation as well, I find it more interesting to do that. And some people don't like that style, but I think there's a lot more people that do prefer that than don't. And I think sometimes, you've got to think about your audience, but I think also you've got to, do something that you enjoy doing as well. And that's half the battle, isn't it?
It certainly is. I like to have an ongoing conversation with my guests. I like to interact as if we're just being friends, which usually we are. So I like your style. I was very very impressed with your style. You brought out a lot of and asked a lot of questions that stimulated my mind. So when you started, did you to do your podcast? Did you specifically choose to do the paranormal side or the psychic side?
Yeah. It was from watching and listening back to a lot of Art Bell, which in the UK you could only get as I think as a downloadable kind of show from Coast to Coast, because obviously they didn't cover that kind of radio station or a radio show. So God, I was listening to Alex Jones. I listened to all sorts of different things back in the day, but yeah, that's where it came from. That's that side of it. It's funny, isn't it? You do these things, and when you look back, you think, well, why did I just stick within that genre? I think it must have been a major interest back then at the time, and now it isn't so much, and it is. It's more now. Well, what more could I do with it where it could be a bit more mainstream, and it's not it's not so much, because I mean, look, there's 1,001 shows within the paranormal nowadays.
Yes.
And I think even when I started back in 2008, there was a good number, but it wasn't as it is now, and that's a good thing that there are so many. But I just want to do something different, and whether that's going to be a number of different things or what, one central different thing. I think I'm going to do the news from a spiritual perspective. So it'll be like a news output with my own network.
When you say a spiritual perspective,
Yes.
what do you mean by that?
Well, it'll be called the ISNN. Stands for the International Spiritual News Network,
Okay.
and it will be reporting the news as is, but then obviously looking at the deeper karmic reasons behind it, and using people with all sorts of gifts to do that deeper karmic digging. So it could be a past life regressionist one day or 1 hour. It could be, a medium psychic. It could be a
Okay.
number of different people, channeler, whatever, astrology, looking at the astrology behind the events or behind the, upcoming month or week or day, whatever it is. That's, I think I'm going to do that. But,
Would you do the dark side as well
I would, well, I
on the
mean,
spiritual part? Because there is, spirituality is positive and negative. Would you do that?
everything would be
Yeah.
covered.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
we would report the news as is,
Okay.
and then and then break it down with a deeper sort of, look at that deeper side, maybe. Yeah, I mean, imagine, looking at the deeper reasons with the ongoing conflict in Russia and the Ukraine. You'd
Yeah.
have so many different perspectives to, what the Ukrainians are trying to teach us on a deeper karmic meaning, about
Wow.
standing up for justice, standing up for
Wow.
oneself. There's so many ways you could take it, but
Yeah.
I don't know when that's going to happen or how I'm going to start that, but I know I'm completely burnt out with what I'm doing,
Hmm.
and I'm desperate for change.
Or growth.
Yeah, growth
Right.
is another great word. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think you get to a point where you know that that you just don't want to. You either feel that you don't want to do it anymore, or
Been there.
it's yeah, you've been there. Yeah, yeah. Where did you hit that point then? Where were you?
Well, a couple of times in my life when I was in my early 50s, when I was still doing call-in shows, and there was just one day I was on at night on the highest rated station in Canada, on the highest rated talk show
Right.
at the station, and I was on from 9:05 to 9:50, and at 9:15 I just looked at the clock and just said,
Mm.
oh God,
I
40 more
remember your story
minutes of
now.
this.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was the end of my broadcast career as I thought it. And I
Right.
just didn't do it anymore. Now, it wasn't just one show, it had been building.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that story now.
I just
You're telling
didn't
us that.
find just doing that. I just lost the meaning of or the purpose of why would I be doing these 1 minute, 2 minute readings. Just it's so far from what I
Yeah,
do.
and there's some days when I think about the ISNN and I'm like, kind of like, oh yeah, it'd be great. And some days when I'm like,
Mm,
uh, you
yeah,
know, I think it has a lot to do with where I'm at right now as well.
yeah,
And I don't talk about it that much neither.
no,
It's something I'll talk about when I can more.
yeah.
That's my last name more. um, but yeah, I'm just going through I'm going through immigration right now, and it's I don't want to swear. But I
A
really want to swear.
challenge.
It's a nightmare.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not. I don't think many people would have kept doing what I'm doing right now. Just but it is what it is, I suppose. I mean, you know.
Well,
So
you're really a determined person. You seem to have an autopilot, and you just have a pathway, and you just keep going.
I think there's a price for that.
But you do that well, and some people would say that's being determined and successful.
Sociopath, psychopath. I'm joking.
Well, we
Yeah,
all.
yeah. Determined. Yeah, I suppose so. I think it's just got to a point where it's just time to see a few things through. I
Mhm.
think that's what I'm trying to do. So I've got
Does
a
that
number of
mean
things.
like completing projects or situations or?
I think so. I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think to me, success right now is seeing it through. And if
Yep.
you've got an idea of what success is to you at a different, which is completely different to what I'm saying, which is more monetary as well, fantastic. That's all great for you. For me, it's different. It's just seeing it through and whatever comes from that.
That speaks a lot. Yeah.
I think as well. I'll just add that yeah, there's a whole different side of me that's developed over the years as well with doing this talk show. I think there's a whole business side to it as well, which is
Yes.
something you kind of not taught when you're sort of training from within media, but it's such an important side. And how do you scale up, right, with having a media company? How do you what is a media company nowadays? What is it to be in the media? You've really got to get yourself out there on as many social media platforms as possible. You become a media content company, really. Yeah, I realize the importance of money, and especially to do something like a news network as well. And that there's a number of business things that I'm working on right now, and I think looking to become a media company, I think the only way forward is outsourcing as well. And I'm just about to ramp up outsourcing to the Philippines, which I'm really excited about seeing how that goes. But there is a
What will
business
you be
side to
outsourcing?
this.
What is that you will be outsourcing to the?
Video editing,
Okay.
social media,
Oh.
and anything that I would be doing in house normally myself.
Okay.
Because how do you make it scalable otherwise? It's really difficult when you get in, when people don't realize when you get into doing something, producing content and even having a talk show, right? It's difficult to scale it up when you're a one-man band.
Yeah.
And it's hard enough to make a living from it, but to be able to make a decent income from it, or at least you see so many people selling courses, don't you, and all these affiliate type of stuff. Well, some people may have people that they work with around them, but are they really paying those people much? Or are those people just a bit flaky around them because they're just helping them, just because they
Often is true.
care
So
about the content,
absolutely.
and that what do you call it, like
Devotees.
yeah, there's another word. There's like a non-for-profit kind of stuff. They're just doing it just as
Yeah.
volunteers. That's the word I'm looking
Right.
for.
Oh well,
Where
I thought. Well,
yeah,
or
well, the same word is what you would, yeah. But I'm looking for something different. I'm completely looking at doing it completely different, and actually, just trying to find that business model. And another thing I'm doing as well is I'm trying to launch my own readers platform. Whether that readers platform, which is called channeling.com, will be something I look back in 5 years time and think, well, if I had known better, I would have done different, or whatever the
well, you're
hindsight
going to
may
say
be.
that anyway, no
Well,
matter
yes.
what, right? With any.
Yes.
Well, can we just go back to that?
Yeah.
Readers or channelers.com. So you would
Channeling.com.
channeling.com. So
Yeah.
you would have a group of professionals that would
Yes.
work inside that
Yes.
concept. Okay. Right.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, but the problem is, there's, there are, how are you disrupting the market? That's the thing. What are you doing that's different? And that's the thing I haven't really answered with channeling.com, even though I've got, I wanted channeling.com to be not just a reader's platform, but a platform for, a resource for anything to do with channeling, because it is called channeling.com. But I built out the readers platform to begin with, obviously, because it's it was the money side. But I mean, it's not launched yet. It's all done, but I'm just at that point of sometimes you take on a bigger monster than you realize sometimes, right?
Yes. Right. Right.
and there's a lot more to it than just read it. You're not just
Sure.
launching a reader's platform. You've got to be able to, you've got a call center, because you've got to be able to take and take
Yep.
care of customers. You've got
Yep.
you've got readers to take care of. You've got readers to pay at the end of
Yes.
the month. You've got payroll. There's all sorts of things. You've got to bring the traffic into the platform. And I was going to use my traffic from my actual platform to do that.
When you said that you would, you needed money to pay the readers at the end of the month, was that just like an allegory?
Just an allegory, just normal business stuff, just normal business stuff. That's all. Yeah,
because
just running
usually we like some other kinds of professions. We usually like the bread just before or just after, we do it.
Yeah, my platform is going to pay the readers that come on the platform probably like a 30 days or at the end of the month. It will be. We're looking at other options to be quicker, but you're always using other people's proprietary software. Do you know what I mean, to build it? And when I say when I look back in 5 years or less time and think, because sometimes it's not good to do things just for money. And I'm not saying I've done that for channeling.com. But I'm a bugger for starting things and not finishing them and losing interest. And I'm not saying I've lost interest with channeling.com. I think sometimes I've lost interest with life, right?
Really?
I feel that sometimes. Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah.
I think with just my situation and just, what you say to yourself, well, where is your fire? Where is it? Where's that drive? It's not always there, and it's been less there than it has been there. Yeah, I think there's a quality in keep it simple, stupid, in just having one thing and seeing it through. It may get to a point where I want it to be just like that, and that point may be coming sooner than later. I'm gonna start trucking things out of my cot. I don't know. Yeah, but I'm quite happy to just try and then see what comes from that. I mean, like there are other projects going on right now, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute, but yeah.
And what are they? Just which one just came to your mind?
When they say do the things that you really enjoy, but there tends to be no money into those things sometimes, right? Or we tend to look at it like that, but there is. But in reality, it's difficult to begin with when you're trying to do them. That is, as you know, a documentary, a true crime documentary.
I was about to bring that up, by the way.
I know you was. How
seriously.
hell does all that fit into all this? Right.
Well, I was looking for a way to get to it.
Yeah. So yeah, how do we segue into that? Well, it's simple, really.
And if I tell the truth, I was using that as bait to get you on the show. That's what I asked Michelle to say. Guarantee him we're going to talk about
that. Yeah, I love it. Really? I love your honesty.
That's how I did it.
I love it. No, it's actually this is for a reason, and I understand that we're speaking, and of course it is. I got really pissed off with my industry at one point, and I call it that. And there's many facets to what I've covered, and I have covered conspiracy before, and what's called the secret space program, which it tends to mix with spirituality nowadays. All these subjects too, which they never did before, I don't think. And there was one particular story spiel that was making its way around the houses out there regarding a guy called Captain Mark Richards, who portrays that he was framed by the deep state for the murder of his friend back in 1982 because of his time spent in the secret space program. And there's been a number of talk shows and platforms that have covered this story and give it ongoing support as well. And of course, he's got a wife that goes around the conferences to talk about her husband's work and journey of trying to get commutation to eventually maybe one day be freed. But he's serving life without the possibility of parole, but that can be commutated. So I just thought, God, that's a really interesting story, but I didn't think too much of it. I did interview this woman, his wife, many moons ago, and I got contacted by someone. Long story short, this person told me a completely different take on the story. I found it really fascinating at the time. I was in the midst of filming a channeling docu-series, which you haven't even talked about, but I've not mentioned it yet.
When we get to it.
I know it's all connected, right? And yeah, one thing led to another. And in the midst of filming that channeling docu-series, I started filming. I started filming for what has now become Captain Mark Richards, a murder in Camelot. That's what the working title of the docu-series is called. And you know,
what is it that caused you to get so into it? Because you are there. What is it that is it?
Possession. Possession from the dead person. That was his story told.
Okay, all right. So let's take that off the table.
I'm kind of joking there a little bit.
I know.
Who knows? Who knows if there's any sort of past life connection between us all in some way? Anyway, it doesn't matter.
But what is it that really turns your crank on this? Like
definitely shining a light on misinformation.
Yes.
And so many people follow this story, and a number still do. And just because a platform has a large following, and just like religion did back in the day,
so Kevin,
we tend to believe that platform.
Kevin, what is it that magnetizes you to it?
I think it's not just about that. It's not just what I just mentioned there about what I just said. It's more than that. It's I think it's Richard Baldwin. I think it is, and he was the guy that was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes when you go out there and you pledge to tell a story and to tell it whatever the facts lead you, I think if there's some unresolved energy out there, then something's going to latch onto that and probably be happy that someone shined a light. And if something's stuck, or if someone's been stuck for a long time, an understandable time that what we do not understand, we talk about, I've done many interviews on people that have crossed over and what it's like to cross over. But if you've been brutally murdered, what is time? I don't think that such things exist as we understand it. Or what if you've crossed over, yet you're still not fully crossed over? I'm using analogy here and understandings that I don't understand. I know, but I don't understand. You may. I don't.
Yeah. Okay. So, in the end, because when we do this work, regardless of what we're doing in this work, we all expect something back, energy back. Like we put energy out, we expect energy back. So for you,
what's my energy back?
What is it that you're going to say, this is worth it?
What was it worth to commit a suicide kamikaze and lose your audience with it as well? Well,
maybe.
They misrepresented the murder victim so badly. I mean, these people go out there and say, well, look, he was a pedophile, so look, it's not right to kill pedophiles, but he got what he deserved.
No, what do you deserve for this?
But I'll answer that. But he actually wasn't. He actually wasn't. Mark Richards is so good at manipulating the truth, and he is a true psychopath. And that was his best friend that he organized the murder for. What do I get out of it? Debt, and more debt.
The end reward is your goal. But what is it?
To see it through now.
Okay.
That's what it is. Because I mean, a lot of money was borrowed for. Well, I say a lot to some people, but a lot to me. I mean, I've still got to pay it back. There was there was money borrowed, and there's lots of money I put into it. I think to see it through is a big thing. But there's something about this project that is pulling me. That is part of my future, and I don't even understand it.
Which is why I'm kind of pushing there a bit.
Yeah,
because I think I could be wrong. I think accepting it and swim with the current than against it,
I am
it
swimming
might be a
with it.
little easier.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm swimming with this one. I actually enjoy
Yeah.
this. I said in the
Oh,
interview, there's
yeah.
some things that there's some things that we can enjoy doing, and I said, but they don't always pay the money. This is one of them. This is very good at taking money, right?
Yes.
Because I've got to go back to California
Absolutely.
in 4 weeks, and it's all at an expense because we've got habeases that we want to get there. There's I missed out the Supreme Court archives last time, and now this is my chance to go back and get everything. So what this is going to become, going to become a podcast stroke video docu-series. And if there's any production company out there in the future that wants to take that off, or to repurpose it in, and to make it into a TV show or a movie, or if there's no one wants to do that, you know what, I did what I was supposed to do, which was to see it through. But maybe it's to do with the ISNN, that actually this will be a platform. Maybe I'm building trust for some reason I don't even understand, that actually, this won't be the only cult that we look into within our industry. There are other there's other massive problems right now, even within this movement. What happened within the spiritual movement is we've now got conspirituality, which is the combination of QAnon and spirituality, and people who are have massive followings, who are misleading so many people because they are insane, damaged, and doing what their soul came here to do. And maybe the followers that they've got on these platforms are people that were in religious followings with them in past lives, and they've just reconnected and are doing what they're doing right now. Who knows? But maybe that's
I
some of
see things.
what the ISNN is going to do. Is it's going to also bust balls as well. We know within this industry a little bit. I'd like that.
Okay, so I see things as we have free choice and free will to do whatever it is that we want. However, there's accountability, and the accountability is what we do one way, we must do equally the opposite. Because and that's how I see things. And so beings will come down on the planet and act and behave in a certain way. And dollars to donuts in another existence, or even in this existence, they're going to be going through the opposite experience.
Yeah.
What I get caught up in, well, not caught up in, what I like to challenge is when people talk about spirituality, and often spirituality is thought of as being positive, but it isn't. Well, it's part of. So being spiritual, doesn't mean that you're good. You can be bad or evil and be spiritual. Anton LaVey, he wrote the Satanic Bible. He also created the Satanic Church of California.
Yeah.
Okay. He worshiped the devil. He was a spiritual guy. I don't want him doing a reading for me, but he was spiritual. So we have to be careful when we just say spiritual, thinking that it's always positive, because it isn't.
No. I mean, look, you could be in the adult industry and still be spiritual.
Absolutely.
If you're enjoying your life, you're living it to the max, you're not hurting anyone, or yourself, and you're living in purpose, brother, you're doing what you came here to do. No, I think we've got it all arse about face. I think we turn our nose down at certain things, and it's like, well, isn't everything spiritual? Isn't everything an experience? Why are we judged? We're so quick, aren't we, to use that word spiritual means to live this exceedingly goody two shoes life, and that's bullshit.
Yeah,
so much shite.
Yeah, well, we're going to do that. If we walk on water in one existence, we're going to be, doing the opposite before we can understand it. That is just the way it is.
Yeah, I'm not all about love and light and all that. Absolutely not. Give me a bit of a rock and roll life. Let's.
I've been there too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, let's do that drinking binge in Vegas, and let's party with and do the drugs and stuff. It's cool, everything in balance, right?
right.
Um, or try to, but
Yes.
um, no, yeah, I think as you get older, you get to know yourself a bit better, don't you?
Yep.
And I just think I've portrayed myself sometimes as this like person
Where?
who I'm not. Do you know what I
Okay,
mean?
well, it's who you are, but there's another part of you that's different. How did you betray yourself?
Well, maybe that's a strong word, but just
Okay.
not being true to myself. Do you know what I
Okay,
mean? Like,
so how weren't you?
mm, probably lots of little tiny ways. Do you know what I mean? That
Okay.
seem to add up to make something bigger sometimes. But
Okay.
maybe even in the interview start, I would much rather prefer, I think, in the future, having a set
Yep.
where people are in person.
Yeah.
Let's get that joint out.
Yeah.
Let's get those mushrooms going, and let's just
Can I be a guest?
absolutely, and let's get shit faced, right, and we'll connect, right.
All right.
I mean,
I'd
I
like
mean,
that.
yeah, but we don't. I mean, it doesn't always have to be like that. I mean, I'm just
Right.
saying,
Every now and
can
again.
can we just not yeah, I just yeah, that's one type of late night show, right? I mean, I'm sure there's lots of different ones on the ISNN network, but um but yeah, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I guess you find yourself in life in a crossroads or in a place
Yes.
where it's just like not a lot makes sense, and you can go on like I've done, interview as many people
Yeah.
as you want. Doesn't make any difference because
Yeah.
you still got you.
Yes. Well, we always have us, right? We
We've always
always
got
have ourselves.
us,
We are
and
always with us.
um
And
yeah.
everything we do for ourselves. Everything.
Mm, yeah,
We
yeah.
don't do anything for anybody except ourselves. So when, like, let's say giving, right?
Mm,
So being someone who gives a lot, they get pleasure out of giving, but receiving is giving as well.
yes.
Because when somebody gives you something, they want you to be happy because it makes them happy to do it. So then
Yeah.
one of the most selfish types of people in the world are the ones that give lots of presents but won't receive. They will not allow anyone else to be happy but themselves, which is a really fucking selfish way to be when you think of it.
When you think of it like that, yes.
You
I've
know,
never thought of it like that before. Mm.
so because when we give something, we want the person to feel good because we feel good when we do it. That's the reason.
Yeah.
That the other person feels good is the byproduct of us looking after us. So
Yeah.
giving is receiving, and receiving is giving. Because when we get recognition, we feel good.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then when we allow someone else to give to us and make a big deal about it, they get happy too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So then we have to look at ourselves and say, am I worthy of feeling good just for me? Am I worthy? That's the, and it's a worthiness. So one who has trouble receiving doesn't realize that they would rob somebody of the joy of giving. So
Mm.
then
Mm.
it comes down to their self-esteem, and it starts with, I'm not worthy of getting this, or what do you want from me, or and
Mm.
it goes all through one's awareness,
Mm.
and also the fear of being hurt and stuff like that.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, no, there's some deep stuff to contemplate there. I
I
mean,
love doing this with
I
you, you
know, I
know.
know, and I don't have those. I barely have those conversations with myself.
I love doing this with
Yeah,
you. It's great.
yeah, yeah. I think some days for me are just keeping myself out of a dark place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. I do. I do. I do.
That's an ongoing battle. Yeah, that's an ongoing battle right now. That is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. The depression has taken its wrath. It's
I'm
taken its
sorry to hear
hold.
that. I'm sorry to hear
Um,
that.
what can you do? Um,
Put one
what can
foot
you
in
do?
front of the other.
Well, that's it.
You do
That's
have a purpose, Kevin.
well, we all do.
Well, I
Yes.
don't care. You have a purpose, and it's an important one.
Uh, yeah. Well, um, yeah, yeah, yeah. It can become a very confusing picture sometimes. It can be, and I think there's been days that I've just said to myself, right, can't wait for this all to be over, and I'm gonna
Sure.
fucking shut my doors when I
Yeah.
get my green card, and I'm walking
Yeah.
away from this industry, and I'm just gonna go work for someone else, and I ain't got to think about all this shit anymore.
Yeah.
And
Well,
there's other
that
days
can
where
happen.
you think to yourself, no, actually, no, I don't think I'll do that. That was me, someone talking to me myself yesterday that wanted that. um, and I'm not after recognition. It's not like that.
What
I
is it
actually,
like then?
um, um, I don't know actually, and I've actually stopped trying to ask myself those questions. Do you know that? Trying to
Yeah.
work it all out. Um, I think when I went to sleep last night, I think what did I think? I thought what was the most powerful thought there? It was let it go. Don't be bothered about
Yeah.
anything. Do I listen to when that advice comes to me? No. Maybe for the split second it came to me, but
Sure.
not too
Sure.
much afterwards or when I wake up. But I think that was a bit of good advice to myself last night. Or anyone else, it's just who
Let it
cares?
go.
Let it go. It's just not worth it sometimes. It's
Or
just
there's
not worth
nothing
it.
you can do.
No, no. I mean, it's not like no, 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 no,
Just
no, 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 no,
right.
no.
And
And none
that's
of us are,
okay too.
yeah, none of us are perfect. I think we've all got ourselves into certain situations. I mean, I can't say the situation I'm in is not due to my actions. Do you know what I mean? And my selfish actions as well, in some respects, right? Um, but
Very happy to be able to say all those things.
hmm,
Any of the shit that happened to me, I caused it. um,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
that would mean that if that were the case, I'd be able to change it.
And I think as well, here's another thing it's just coming to my head right now. I think whatever the situation you're going through, it is to change you.
Yeah.
It's to
Or
bring up the crap to get you to go in the direction that you should be
here's
going.
here's you see, I'm really big on saying what you mean and meaning what you say and using the
Mm.
right words. So and I forgot what you were talking about that triggered that. You're so saying what you mean, and you were
I was just saying that situations are there to bring out things that you're not sort of
change,
change that
change,
you don't want
right.
to face or whatever it may be in you that you don't want to see.
Now I myself see that different.
Hmm.
I see change as something that is absolutely inevitable, and it is going to
Yes.
happen. And so I see it as circumstances beyond our control. What I also see is we're in situations where we have the opportunity to grow, because everything,
True.
good, bad, or in between, that's ever happened to you from the time you were conceived to this second has caused you to be who you are. And you can't change that. What you can do is be more than that. And because you are that and alive today, you are more and you are growing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. What can I say to that? But yes, yes.
Well,
No, I mean it's great stuff. I mean it is, and I think it's nice for anyone to be reminded of that. Um,
You know,
but it can fade sometimes, can't it?
yeah. Well, when you're up to your ass in alligators, it's very difficult to remember you were supposed to drain the swamp. And then what happens when?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's so true. Or if you were gonna, it's like casting a magic spell. Don't do it on any day except for this day.
That's right.
And what do? You go do it the other
Any
day,
other day.
and
Absolutely.
then yeah, so yeah. No, I don't know. I just feel like saying something about I mean, I'm all over the place here, but just
You're doing great.
about the. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. About the Richard Baldwin thing, about the true crime documentary that I'm working on. It did give me an insatiable sort of uh, curiosity about other true crimes and how it affects people. So many people it affects, and how souls can come down and do these things, and the sort of mass effect it has, and it's not forgotten about when they cross over. Yeah. um it would take, I don't see. I was going to come on this interview and I was like, right, I'm not going to tell Robert too much about the case because I want him to tune into Richard Baldwin, and he can tell me what Richard's thinking. Do you know what I mean? Or when does Richard want me off the project? Or not like that, but
I think you're doing pretty good on your own.
What, bringing him through?
No, right. Yeah, I think you're doing pretty good right now doing.
I don't think a lot, except there are bigger things going on. That answers nothing, does it?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, please.
Is it possible
save me.
that your involvement with this is your decision for what you want to happen, and it might not be his?
Well, there's a thought. I'm doing what he doesn't want me to do, which is bring up all old wounds to his only remaining family member. That could be true. But at the same time, he's not in charge. I am. And I can't hear him directly say, stop, Kev, for God's sake, just stop, right?
So how about,
I don't
can
feel
I make another suggestion here?
I'll say this though, I don't feel that energy's there. But
so how about then sending the energy out and saying, are you okay with this?
I hope I emanate that.
Well, give it a shot.
You've said it. I don't need to say it. You've said it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'll say it. Go on then.
You don't. No, I don't mean. I'm not asking you to do a hallelujah.
Richard, come on.
Go
no. Generally, look, Richard Baldwin. Look, I know that you're there. I know that you're there. I'm just putting the energy out now with Robert that you are okay with what we're doing as well, because I've not actually ever asked you. But how would I know he's not, Robert? What's he saying?
I think getting you to do what you just did was a pretty good thing to do, a feat, right? So let's just see what happens now. So now perhaps open yourself up to impressions or things that could happen around you. So I'll give you an example of that. I know a guy, his name is Yogi Akal, and this guy is, a pretty evolved guy. He communicates with animals like I have never experienced before. And there was this one time, I had 2 dogs and 3 cats. And one of my cats, it was time for him to complete his life. Yogi came over and, did a thing. And then I took Riley to the vet. And when I came back, Yogi phoned me and he said, by the way, Riley says to give treats to everybody after dinner. And I just thought, this is bullshit. So after dinner, I give treats to all the dogs and the cat, and all of a sudden, there I sensed Riley was there only for a second. He was there. I saw him, and then he left. Now, I wasn't looking for it. I was aware that it could happen. And if you just open your mind, you'll get an answer by paying attention to what's obvious around you.
You know the feeling I get?
Yes.
I get the feeling that there's an arm around me, and it's almost like patting me on the shoulders and just saying, it's almost like a thank you, but it's not like that. It's and I don't, I mean, do I want this to be true? It's almost like someone's being released. There's a releasing.
Okay.
And it's also it's also for the releasing of others, including the wife of the guy that's currently serving, because it's the karmic journey of a number of people. Everything's connected is what I'm hearing the words. Everything's connected. And it's also for the I can't believe you get me to do this. It's also for the healing of his sister as well, because it's bringing up, it has brought up, or it's bringing up things in her, on her journey as well, definitely, that she's not wanting to face, because she's not been able to forgive.
What is your link to it then? You must have taken this on and said, okay, I'm going to take this assignment. What's the assignment now?
I think it's karmic.
Karma is merely for every action.
It's people's awakening. It's people's awakening.
But it has to be yours too.
Yes, it's mine as well, definitely. Oh, absolutely, yes, and that's a good point. Yeah, it's mine and everyone else's. That
Right.
Yes, that's what it is. It's mine and everyone else's on this journey. Yeah, it is. Right. Because also what's going on, and I was tuning in there a little bit, but right now I'm just going to say something. What's going on as well is that his wife is now developing her own mediumship skills, and she's bringing through relatives, and she's got people around her as well that call themselves channelers, are bringing them through relatives of the deceased, of family members. Let's just say that family members that are praising her for what she's doing, that she's doing, for telling the truth of Mark's stories. And I know that just can't be true, because anything Mark is saying is just not true. He's never been in the secret space program. There's no such a thing, not in this reality anyway. And it's a psychopath talking. And if she really feels that she's bringing through the dead relatives of these people, it is not true. And where is her discernment in any of that? So when I was talking about karmic, everyone's, it's all this mixed in there as well. There's much more to it than I've got the time to explain right now. Do you know what I mean? But if what I'm making, I hope, makes sense. But yeah, there's more to it. And I'm probably not even giving you the answer that really what it's completely all about. But
and what it's completely all about is with them. What's in it for me? Now, people that do this type of work, our instinct, the good ones anyway, our instinct is not what we can get. Our instinct is what we can do. What can we do? That's our first instinct. And that's what separates us that do this kind of work. So our instinct, we're hardwired to what can I do before what can I get. After a while, what can I get comes, gets prominent. But we have to work on acknowledging we need to receive.
Well, there's a part of me that wants to say, well, maybe maybe doing it was just so much more interested to me than anything I was doing at the time.
And then if that's the case, then you got what you wanted. because it was interesting, fascinating, and it stimulated you.
Yeah,
Keep going.
then it just became an obsession.
Right.
Now it's
Right.
just to see it through.
Right.
But
Or
still,
but it's always going to be there, Kevin.
yeah, it still fascinates me loads. Yeah. Anyway,
And if you
yeah.
took a break from, I'm not telling you should or shouldn't, but if you took a break for a little bit, it's always going to be there, and you can always go back to it.
Well, these people aren't leaving prison anytime soon, so no. Now's the time to finish it. But
Okay.
I just no, there's I don't know if that really answers it. They're bits of answers. They're not the full answer. I feel very pulled. I can't tell you how pulled I feel to do it. I just feel so extremely pulled to do it, and and you want me to give you an answer why? You know what? I ain't got a Scooby Doo. It's
I
something else.
just I was hoping that you could find something that would be a personal benefit for you. That's really what I was hoping for. But what I
Well,
want,
I think enjoying it is a personal benefit.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So how can you do that part? That's the goal here. Keep right.
Just doing it. Just
Or
doing it.
have fun at it. How do
I'll
you
go
do
with
that?
that. As that there is fun in it. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. I find fun in fact checking everything
Okay.
just doing it. Yeah, it's the whole process of it. It really is. But I know it sounds so boring what I'm saying right now, but it's interesting to me. But and maybe making a product out of it as well. That sounds even worse, Tony. I'm making a product out of a murder, but I mean, what I mean about that is, everything's a product in some way, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
The only if I were to
Yeah,
make a judgment, um, the only thing that's negative in what you're doing is how you're feeling when you're doing it right now. But other than that, I don't see anything negative about what you're doing. Just what you're going through yourself, but nothing else.
yeah. Well, if you can make something like this happy and doable when you're in my state, then I think on a good day it's even better. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So,
Uh,
Kevin, how do people find your podcast? How do people find you?
if they want to find me, they can just go to my main channel right now is YouTube. If they just type in the More Show official, or yeah, just type in the More Show official or Kevin Moore, but the More Show official is the main one, and you'll find me. Or if you just go to themoreshow.com, then there's a website there with links to all my social media platforms. Maybe that's a bit easier as well.
This
And
has
please
been,
subscribe.
oh, yes,
Right? Is that
that
what we
much,
meant to
that's for
say?
sure. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. Thank
Good.
you for today. Wow, that was an amazing and insightful talk Kevin and I had. Um, we always just seem to talk about those things, and one we just seem to play off each other. He comes up with an idea and I come up with an idea. It was a really special talk. Thank you very much, Kevin, for sharing all your knowledge. And just as a little tip, in a few weeks from now, I'm going to be on Kevin's show as well. So just before I say goodnight, have a couple of requests. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Subscribing is really important. It gives us a recognition, and incidentally, they're complimentary, and it gives us a recognition, an acknowledgement that we have regular listeners. And you can also find us on Apple, Spotify, and pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts. Got a big announcement coming up in another week or two about where you're going to be able to hear my side of the crystal ball. Very special place. And if you would like to get in contact with me, you can find me on my website, www.robertlindsymilne.com. You can also find me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And now, just before we say goodnight from podcast number 19, I've got these things to share. Do good, stay safe, and above all, just be kind. Good night, everybody.